Welcome to the DIY video on EzMR. I'm Fritz Sticht from the Behling Simulation Center at the University of Buffalo. Today we're going to create a free EMR using resources that are already available in your center. So what are we going to need to create the EzMR? Chances are you already have things in place. First of all, you're going to need a data network or a local area network with two computers on the same network that are available to share information. We're using shared network storage where our information is going to live. If you do not have a NAS drive or shared network storage like we have, you can certainly create shared folders on your computer and make those available to other users on the network. Other than that, you can move on. If you do not have a data network in place where you actually can share information from computer to computer, you can actually still do this without the data network, but you're going to need, at the minimum, internet access with some type of cloud storage where you can put your information where two computers can interact with the same folders at the same time. Okay, so let's take a look at the layout, and we'll just kind of give you a quick 10,000 foot overview of what your situation is going to look like. You're going to wind up with, once again, two PCs. We're going to put one PC in the control room where you're going to manage from the back side your EzMR, and then you're going to need a PC in the clinical room where your learners can actually access the learner side of the EzMR that we'll be showing you how to create in a little bit. We're going to connect those two PCs with our LAN network, and in there we are going to take advantage of our NAS drive, or our network attached storage drive, and that's exactly where our EMR is going to exist. So let's create the EzMR. First thing we're going to have to do is create two separate folders. Folder one we're going to call admin, and this is where we're going to do most of our work, and we don't have to create this directly on the network attached storage drive, although you can. We're just going to move it over later once we're done. I'm going to work locally. Next we're going to do a second folder, and we're going to call this one our learner folder. We're going to open up our admin folder and make sure that we can see it. In the admin folder, this is actually where we are going to start to populate our patient folders. So I've already created 3 blank patient folders, and we'll paste those in here. And you can have any number of patient folders in here. We're going to start working on patient 1. Now, the idea here is to populate everything that you think you're going to need for this patient. So I have some information here that I'm going to copy and move into my patient folder. And the wonderful thing about using Windows or any Mac folder program is they give you this nice preview, which is really kind of a nice touch for our learners so they can have a visual cue of what they're looking at. As you can see in this patient folder, we have some vitals information. We have labs that are available, ECG, and an x-ray for our patient. And I guess I should show you, at least on the Windows side, this is Windows 7 that I'm using here, and you can do this on most computers and most platforms. We can just change the image size of the document we're looking at and make it a little bit easier for our learners to see. And you can do that in several different ways, but this is just one way to visualize the data that's going to be in your folder. So now that we have our patient documentation all in the admin side of the EzMR, let's populate our learner side. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and assuming that we have populated all of our patients, we're going to copy those and we're going to paste them into the learner side. But what we need to do is go back to our patients, starting at your first patient. The thing you want to do is make sure that only the information that needs to be available at the beginning of the scenario is available in that learner side folder. And I know that we only want vitals and some patient information available. So what we'll do is we'll just delete those other documents, and the only thing that's going to be available at the start of the scenario will be our vitals and our patient information. One trick that I do is that for each of my patients, I actually create a staging directions document, and in here it is just a simple note to myself that when I go back and stage my scenarios to make sure that the medical record is as accurate as possible and we're not giving them information before they've actually asked for it. So I just create an available for staging note, and at this point it's vitals and patient information. Okay, so now we're actually ready to start using our EzMR, and you can actually start using this during the scenario as the students go through and manage their patient. Perhaps they're going to order an ECG. As you have it here, all you're going to do is copy it, move it over onto your PC, into the learner side, and paste it. And the fantastic thing about it is, since both computers, the control computer and the learner computer, are looking at the same folder, once you paste it from your admin folder to the learner folder, it becomes available on their screen also, so they can actually just open up their file, read the information, and they can make some clinical decision on that information. If you're a facility that needs to chart or needs to make notes, you can certainly do that in the EzMR. What you will do is you'll create a document where you can actually just put your notes in, whether it's a Word document, it could be a Notepad document, Excel spreadsheet, a PDF, whatever you use to make your notes. You can open it up, you'll have your notes available, make your notes, and then save that document and close it. The one disadvantage to the EzMR is it doesn't have a cohesive interface that most people are used to. With that being said, we've already come up with a solution. Here is a quick and simple interface for the EzMR. This executable monitors our learner folders for our patients and any information put into those patient folders. Down on our drop-down list, we can take a look at any patient that we have. We can take a look at their information. Comes up as a list of documents in that folder, and we'll talk about a slightly different folder structure than we had before. But it basically works the same way. You double-click on your document, and you can scroll through any information that is in that folder. The wonderful thing about this interface, it actually monitors that folder for any new information that's been put into it and displays it. Now let's take a look at our folder structure, which is slightly different. We'll move this over to the side and bring in our folder. So as you see here, and we'll get into Mr. Quinn's folders, you can see how all of these folders on the right-hand side correspond to these tabs, and that's where these tabs are actually derived from. The interface looks at the folders and displays them as a tab. So if I were to add a new folder, and we'll just call it ultrasound, I'm actually going to have to come back here and refresh that manually, but the files actually in the folder do come up. But as you see, our new ultrasound tab is here, so I can go in here and create a new document. We'll just create a new Word document, and just enter that, and you see how it shows up over here. So that is the EzMR interface. Not completely done, but we're working on it. We're going to work out the bugs, and when those are all ironed out, we will actually make this available to the simulation community as a free option for a medical record. So there you have it, the EzMR in a nutshell. It's another option, a free option that is, for an electronic medical record. I understand it's not perfect, but it is certainly cost effective, and the feedback we get from our students is they actually prefer it over the EMRs they get out in the rotations because of its usability. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. Take care.